No matter if you're a brand new player or someone who has been playing this game for many years, learning how to play the market is one of the most important skills you can develop. Now, it doesn't matter how good you are at PvP or gathering, if you master the economy, you can build a fortune with minimal risk. Now in this video we are gonna deep dive into how to start a monopoly, how to maintain it, and more important, of course, how to profit from it. So first things first, what exactly is a monopoly? Well, a monopoly occurs when a single person or a group of people has complete or near complete control over a specific product, service, or segment of the market. Now, because there's little to no competition, the person holding the monopoly can freely set up prices and dictate the terms. While monopolies are typically bad for consumers, they are incredibly powerful and profitable for the people who control them. Now, monopolies themselves are not easy to establish, and they're even harder to maintain. But once you have control over a certain item, you become essentially the market for that item. So, the first and the most important step is identifying the right product to monopolize. Ideally, you'll want to look for items that have a very high demand, but aren't commonly crafted. Now, these often include lower tier items, which many players overlook because the general assumption is that you can only profit from higher tier crafting. But on lower qualities and lower tiers, this is where the opportunity hides. You're also looking for items that require special ingredients, like artifacts or rare components. Now, these create natural barriers for entry of the market, making it harder for newer players and other guys to step in and compete, because they can't mass produce these items without the specific artifacts that, generally speaking, are very hard to acquire. One great example would be crystal weapons. They're valuable, not overly saturated, and they require one specific component to craft, which in this case is an artifact that you can only get at the end of every season. Now, over the past few weeks, I've been quietly doing and monopolizing one very special market that is very beloved to me and this channel, which is calming potions. Yeah, you heard me right, calming potions again. But this time, instead of focusing on the usual 3.0 or 3.1 variants like we used to, I noticed that no one was supplying tier 3.2 calming potions. That instantly flagged me as a huge opportunity, as I knew they were widely used and I saw very little supply, which in this case is a perfect opportunity for us to create a monopoly. Now, to start building control, the first step was buying out all the ingredients that you needed to craft the material. Now, in this case for calming potions, as a lot of you are already familiar, there are only 3 of them, which are the Shadow Claws, the tier 3 herbs, and the essence, in this case the rare essence. Amongst these, the Shadow Claws are by far the rarest and the most significant, because they are pretty much what sets potion crafting apart. So the difference between crafting a tornado potion and a calming potion is the artifact. So I focused mostly and entirely on buying every single Shadow Claw that I could find in the market. Now, if no one has access to these or this ingredient, it means that no one can ever compete with me. Now, because I had the monopoly and I secured all the ingredients, I went off to craft the potions myself, always making sure to use the cheapest available station, or ideally one I have associate bonus on, which in this case was what happened. Regarding the refined arcane extracts, they can be purchased on the marketplace or they can be crafted by yourself. You can simply break them down or break any tracking item into rare animal remains. Now, once you have these, you can simply transform them into the right extract. It's very important to know that during this process, you don't pay any fees for crafting. Once the potions were crafted, I just put them back into the marketplace under my control. Now, because I had the whole monopoly and the whole market for myself, I could set the price however I wanted. Sure, occasionally you'll see other players list small batches, because they might have old stock, they might have old ingredients, or they manage just to set up buy order while it's offline. But in those cases, what I normally do, or what you want to aim to do, is just buy them out, and then you relist your items and their items for a price you're comfortable with. Now, in general, when you have control over an item, you can list as many units as you want, but I prefer to keep it realistic and try to match the daily sales volume. So for these potions, for example, that number tends to be around 400 to 500 units per day. So that's exactly how much I was trying to list to keep my prices stable and consistent. Now, maintaining the monopoly will take a lot of attention. You need to check in daily, making sure that no one is undercutting you, and regularly buy out the key ingredients. I also recommend placing high buy orders so you maintain the ingredient list high. This makes it more attractive for the regular players to sell to you, rather than selling on the market directly. Now, of course, after this video goes live, it's very possible that the Calming Potions Tier 3 niche won't perform as well anymore. That's the nature of the game. Once a niche is exposed, people rush in. So, if you're serious about building a monopoly, you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. Instead, you have to focus on finding your own item, something unique, something profitable, and make it something yours. Also, before you do anything, always do the math. Check if you're actually making money before anything. It's very easy to get excited about a new market opportunity, but if you're not careful enough, you could be selling at a loss without even realizing it. Now, whether you're crafting food, capes, bags, weapons, armor, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you find something good and something that you can make money on. Now, keeping the monopoly a lot of the times becomes very expensive, so sometimes it's best to just jump out of ship and just take your profits as they are. Now, a recommendation that I also have is always try to take a look at the patch notes. Now, the patch notes offer pretty much a great insight of what's happening on the game. Now, if you see something that's very good, that is very likely going to be something that is going to be more expensive. On the recent patches, we had a pretty huge buff on the Hellion hoods, which made them skyrocket from 5k to 40k a unit. Now, as you can imagine, this was another niche and another monopoly that I tried to do. But the issue with these helmets, or these hoods in this case, is that they are very easy to craft, so it was very hard to maintain. So it's not achievable. But for example, a couple months ago, there was a very strong patch incentivizing or increasing the quality and the performance of certain mounts. For example, the mounts that you get on the world bosses. Now, I knew this, I read this, and I knew for a fact that they would be good to monopolize. So I did what any sane person would do, and I bought every single one from the market. I spent around 300 million, and my 300 million investment quickly became 1.2 billion, as I was the only person that had them, and I could sell them for 4 times the original cost. Anyways guys, that is all for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them down in the comment section. And if you have crafting questions or economy questions, I also dropped a link down below where we have my crafting Discord where we host active premium giveaways every week, and you can also ask your crafting questions and anything related to the game. Anyways, that is all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and as usual, Nendys out.